myself, look, I want this so bad that she has to hear my voice. She has to hear the determination that I have for this role, because I think I saw like 200 people apply for the role. How is she going to differentiate between all these people? So I picked up the phone and I sold myself to her, just the same way I'm speaking to you now. And, she called me for an interview and I got a job. It was that simple. She didn't even bother interviewing the rest of the people. I got a job straight away. Hi guys, welcome again to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to be talking all about what to do right after you finish university. I think this is a very important topic because when I left university, I wish there was someone who I could, look to in terms of what I needed to do, but I didn't. So I felt to share some of my own experiences of what to do and some of the other alternatives that are out there, which you can actually do when you leave university. From my perspective, right, there's three main things you can do after uni. The first one is you could carry on and do a postgraduate, type of degree, a master's or a PhD. The second thing you could do is you could go straight into employment, which I actually did, and I'm going to tell you my own experience of that. And the third thing you could do is what some of my friends did, which is they actually, took a year out to study abroad, and some of them even, they taught English abroad as well, and they made some money whilst they were, out there. So when I left university, like I mentioned in the previous video, I did Biomedical Science. Now, a lot of you guys that have done biomedical science, a lot of people say that you only do it if you can't get into medicine. That was actually true. I tried to get into medicine, I didn't get into it. So I went and did biomedical science with the intention of doing medicine afterwards. When I left university though, biomedical science was all about working in the lab. And I really did not like working in the lab. I'm more of a people's person. And I didn't want to become a doctor either because I felt like the reason why I wanted to become a doctor no longer made sense. So I was kind of looking around to see what I could do. I had no clue, but I knew for a fact that I wanted to stick within my subject, which is, science, but I wanted to incorporate a little bit of business into that as well. And then it dropped on my lap. Literally, one of my friends was doing this job, which is medical sales. And as some of you guys may know what medical sales is, but effectively what it is you have, drugs or equipment that you basically go out there and sell to doctors. And doctors, need you because they need to understand what's new in the market. And it was perfect because it incorporated both my love for science and my love for business. And, not only that, guys, guess what? You get paid highly, you get a company car, and you work from home as well. So for me, it was a no-brainer. That experience was probably the best experience I've had in terms of when I actually left university because, that 6 months in that job taught me so much about, the role, the industry, how to conduct yourself and so on. I promise you, right? I had a conference call. And during that time, I had no idea how to do conference calls. Literally, they called me. I had my phone like this, and I was sleeping like this and talking to my boss. Can you imagine? That's how I was conducting myself in this conference call. So I learned so much from making those mistakes, and that's the thing, right? I'm not glorifying failure. Never, I would never do that. But I feel like failure is required for you to hit the next step in your career, and that's what happened here. But during that time, I learned so much. I learned how to conduct with people who I wouldn't usually conduct with. I learned how to speak to big CEOs, big bosses, directors, and so on. I even learned how to drive properly in that role because before I didn't know. I just got my license and they gave me a company car and I had to drive. So I learned how to drive. So, what I'm trying to say is, you may go through certain challenges in work when you first start. Never think it's a bad thing. It's always an experience that you need to learn to get you through your next role. So in this part of the video, we're going to talk about exactly the steps I took right after, the practical steps to actually land a job. The first thing I have to say is every single big job that I've landed, and I've landed a lot of big jobs, Every single job I've landed were all through LinkedIn. And I know you've heard this before, but guys, please update your LinkedIn profile right now. It's so important. So when I left university, I wanted to get into, the big company I was telling you about. The first thing I did was I got, general sales experience. And, that's what I did. Literally telesales, when you're getting calls from, people asking you for PPE. Yeah, that was me. And that was the first sales experience I ever got. I put that on my CV, I uploaded it onto LinkedIn, and then that's when I started getting, jobs coming in as well from LinkedIn. So please, guys, make sure you update your LinkedIn. It's very important. Another part of LinkedIn as well that you have to bear in mind. So sometimes the employers in LinkedIn will actually put in their phone numbers right in the actual profile detailing the job. Pick up the phone, and I promise you, pick up the phone and call them. It will show so much initiative from your side to be able to call them and tell them about why you're best for the role. One of the biggest jobs that I got after university, this is exactly what happened to me. The manager literally left their phone number on the detail for the job, and I said to myself, look, I want this so bad that she has to hear my voice. She has to hear the determination that I have for this role, because I think I saw like 200 people apply for the role. How is she going to differentiate between all these people? So I picked up the phone and I sold myself to her, just the same way I'm speaking to you now. And she called me for an interview and I got a job. It was that simple. She didn't even bother interviewing the rest of the people. I got a job straight away. So when you see that number on LinkedIn, make sure you pick up the phone and call them. Okay, so sometimes you may not necessarily find that person's number, on the job description. However, a lot of the time what I found is that, especially in my experience, when you're applying for really big companies, they have a talent acquisition team within that company itself. One of the cheekiest things I've ever done is actually I found the name of the talent acquisition partner of that company, and what I did was I actually found the name and I called up the company itself. I found the company's number obviously on Google, called the company, I went straight into reception, and then I gave them the talent acquisition partner's name, so they thought that I knew them. So they passed me directly to talent acquisition, and then I was able to sell myself. It was that simple. And the thing that works great about this as well is that their job is to find you. So if you found them, they think that you are the best person for the job because you seem extra dedicated. Do you see? So again, this is another great way of beating the competition. It's all about beating the competition and doing something different, because it makes you stand out even more. Okay guys, so I've mentioned that the first step is to obviously look for jobs yourself, which is through LinkedIn. So we've got that, so let's park that for now. The second step is now, you can also utilize recruiters to actually look for the jobs for you as well. So a lot of you guys might know that recruiters, their jobs is to match the employer with the employee. So it's very important to actually understand, why recruiters are there. At the end of the day, we all know that they're there to make money, but what's important for you is that, they can also be a huge benefit to you because they can find the right roles for you. You just need to understand, what makes a good recruiter and what makes a bad recruiter, and how to differentiate between the best and the best. The way I did it was very simple. I looked at someone who really listened to me and what I wanted. I looked for someone who brought the right roles in front of me and not just roles that were good for them. I looked for people that, spoke to me the way human beings that I could generally connect with as well. And the last thing, I went with my gut. When someone was on the phone to me, you can kind of tell from the voice and everything else whether or not they had your best interest at heart. At the end of the day, it's very important that when you're going for a role that you go with your guts with it. Whether or not you're going through LinkedIn or you're going through a recruiter, do not please anybody. Make sure that this role is right for you as a person. Because at the end of the day, I'm a true believer that, we're all working to make money and so on. But our genuine happiness and the fact that we're doing something that fulfills us is way more important than all the money in the world, in my opinion. So I really believe that when you're going for roles, make sure that it fulfills these criterias, and you should be good. Okay guys, so if you need any other tips and advice around any other aspects of finding a job, whether or not it's interviews, want me to bring someone on who has actually traveled and done all that, comment below exactly what you want, and I can tailor that advice to you guys as well. And make sure that you like, subscribe, and tune in for the next one. Thank you for watching. Take care guys. Bye bye.